show you how to get paper, boy. Show you how to get to that shit, stack it up real high, real high. See the hate in your eye, but I can't tell just what you hating for.
What's up, Duelist? My name is Paper Yugioh, and welcome back to another deck profile video on the channel. We're here with the boys. Oh, we got Romario on the side too. What's good, boy? Tell us who you are and tell us what you did.
I'm Ben, and this is Brad, and we just got first place at the Natick Endangered Hobbies 3v3 tournament this weekend.
Congratulations. What kind of deck did you guys play?
All three of us ran the exact same based list.
Punk Synchro.
Yeah, Punk Synchro.
As
Konami would refer to it.
So it is similar to Paulie's list from the YCS remote duel.
Yeah, me and Paulie spent like a lot of time testing, putting this deck together. Ben also helped contribute on it. We spent a lot of time like testing all of the decks prior to that YCS, and took a lot of convincing to get Paulie to finally play it. But we ended up coming to the end of the day that it just had the best matchups all around, highest ceiling, and its floor was pretty good too. That's replayable.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, just making a Verte after they hand trap you 3 times is pretty good. So.
Yeah.
That is pretty nice. That is pretty nice.
Not that bad.
We were testing earlier today, and I was testing the Tanny deck against him. I literally threw Nib, Ash, Valor, Ogre into him, and he still resolved Verte on me.
Wow.
It was awful.
Romario is impressed.
It was awful.
All right, guys, why don't we get into the card by card? Just let us know what the cards are. Here we go.
So monster lineup, just going through it. We play the basic Rose Dragon package, as well as the Basil Shoot. You see that when we get to spells. These are just the best tuners in the deck, or these are. This one's okay.
It's actually not a bad normal summon if you don't see the brave stuff.
It's fine. You never want to normal summon it, if that's the case. It's very standard. Like, you'll see every base deck running those, as well as 3 of these and 1 of him. It's extremely standard. You need to see your Brave Engine. We're playing 60. We want to max out as much as we can.
Yeah, we're not playing the Cherubini stuff, so you have to play as many copies of her as you can.
Yeah, you really want to max out the package. We went back and forth on 1 and 2 of this. Ultimately, we cut the second one for space.
You definitely could put another one in, though. It does come up that sometimes you wish you had the second one.
Yeah, all in all,
it's not bad to open either.
We did settle on 1 for the event, and it was very good at just 1. But the second one has come up, it was very good. More 7s. We play 3 Vishuda. It's amazing going second. Yeah. Mostly played for a 7. You can also summon it off of Yazi if your Mare is already out of the deck. That's come up.
Small worlded away.
Yeah, it's come up a few times. Very good small world bridge, actually.
Yeah, it actually is.
Very
small world be good.
Small world's great. We're playing 2 and 2. We're also not playing prep. This is all of the magicians we're playing the deck.
So did you guys like this ratio?
Yeah, I mean, so this card's like really, really good. It's level 1, which is really important actually, and the illusion effect to put back comes up like a lot. Like, I almost want more copies of this card, but seeing multiple copies of Souls was really bad. We were usually playing a lineup of 3 of this, and then 2 prep, and then it was 1 prep, and then we ended up cutting the preps. Because like I said, if you have multiple of this card, it's awful. When you have 1 of it, it's at worst a free summon.
And this is one of your main sources of follow-up in the deck, because you typically end on a Herald the Arclight, and then when that reaches the grave on your opponent's turn, you search an illusion, and then you get to start your turn by searching one of these guys, and hopefully drawing at least a few cards off that. The next package, and the namesake of the deck, obviously, Punk Synchro. We play the punks.
You've been punked.
So many punks.
All the punks. This is all the good punks.
We used to play one more of this.
So this is part of the deck that people might not be too familiar with. So why don't you go into these a little bit?
So this is how you turn E-Telly into way more card advantage than every other deck currently. Basically, you just summon this one, Zaman, and the little ones pretty much all have the same effect where you pay 600 life, do X. This one searches a monster. This one searches a trap. We don't play the trap. It's terrible. And then this one is like another E-Telly, basically.
Bad E-Telly.
Yeah, it's like really bad E-Telly, but it comes up, and that card is one of my favorites of the deck. It's so good.
So like this package. So originally, the base deck, when people first started playing it, we're just playing like generic like cards in there, more extenders and Destro and stuff like that. And then there was the 3-axis version that was really cool and really efficient, because obviously they can send the girl. But one of the standouts, I was testing both versions because I really hated PK. I really hated that deck, so I was trying to find something else to play. And when I was getting to these 2 versions of the deck, the punk cards were kind of like cracked. And I was like, I don't understand why we're not playing this with souls too. Because like we were saying before, at worst, if you have to normal summon in a bad hand, this card is a help by itself. And at best, with E-Telly, without normal summoning, you have 2 monsters for a Verte, or you have the 2 monsters for a help. Or you get an extra card in your hand that you can small world away. That comes up a lot too.
Yeah, each of those, it's just very uniquely qualified to do every single thing you want to do in the entire deck. So
they're also very good small world bridges.
Yeah, they're 3s, psychics, and earths, so they can bridge a lot of stuff. And this one's also a beast, which I think is really funny.
That part never comes up.
Never comes up. Well, it means you can match it with literally any other light monster.
Yeah.
Every light monster in the deck pairs with her.
Very nice.
On to one-ofs and
The bad cards.
bricks, the cards you don't want to draw. You need it for the combo. We search it in the combo, so it's free. Surprisingly, one of your best normal summons and a really good follow-up playoff Hulk.
Hey, he got the nice one too.
Yeah,
Let's
so-
see.
This
First
card is like one of the primary differences since Paulie's deck list. Paulie mentioned it in his profile. He was playing this card, and as soon as he said it, we started trying it, and like it was definitely a mistake. This should have been from day one. This makes your Foolish Burial great. This is a good summon off Hulk. A lot of times you bait your opponent trying to hand trap you. You summon your Hulk, and with no intention of actually resolving the Hulk combo, and then you just make a Verite with this. And this is part of the OTK line too. Sometimes you just make a Hulk off your Mare tokens with the Mare, and it gives you the necessary material to either resolve your combo or get to an access code.
Yeah, it never really comes up that it's level 2, but it's just extremely versatile, and it lets you put back Mare a lot of the time, which is amazing.
It's a free thing sometimes. It's a great card.
Yeah, and every time that someone Lancias me early, I just love summoning this like 2 or 3 times out of my grave personally.
All the bricks.
Yeah, it just goes infinite. You dump your entire
Dash
hand back into the
Oh, that's broken.
I did that to someone. That's hilarious. Other one of
Brian said zombies.
Fairy Tale Snow. We dump it off Riser. Card's insane. It auto wins you certain matchups like Brain Kids and Phantom Knights. Like you just set their normal summon and they pass.
I'm actually really curious what you both think about this card coming off the list.
Mistake.
It was a mistake. But
Definitely. It's like you
I
can
love
see
it.
immediately as I guess like in the beginning of the form we didn't see it right away, but like if you look at like the best performing decks now, by and large, the good combo decks are playing this card, like in some capacity. Like Dragon's playing this card. All the Brave decks are playing this card, except for like.
It's
Frank
literally
and
just
GK.
free follow up. And the fact that we're playing so many cards and like the combo eats
Yeah.
so many cards means you can just like dump this in your grave and use it 2 to 3 times.
Getting this card in your
From
graveyard
go.
is like you win a lot of the games. I had a game last night. We were doing some online playing, and it was just deep. I was playing against a DPE deck, and he like used a bunch of generic cards, broke my board, and all I had left was like a floating DPE and a snow. And I eventually won that game with both our DPEs getting outed just because every turn there was a snow. I was threatening to come back, and she's bigger than 1800 defense, so she can hit her hand trap in defense mode.
Yeah, she'd be smacking that Ash.
Do be kind of nice. We also have to play the Scythe because Scythe format.
Yeah, so actually,
we don't
we're
need-
talking about it a little bit though. The original base deck wasn't maining this card at all. They were just playing Lancia in there, which was like kind of crazy.
Yeah, but it's a Scythe format. You have to play Scythe.
Right, so yeah, it's the best Scythe lock. There's no reason why you wouldn't just play
If
this
you can
card.
do Herald Scythe you're beating every deck in the meta right now that's not named Flunderies.
Boost and negates though.
Need it for the combo.
That card sucks to draw.
Not a whole lot to say there. It just kills people sometimes though, which is super nice. And then the last 2 one-ofs are D Heroes.
Best card in the game.
Yeah,
Pretty nice card.
not gonna talk about those.
Ben's like, I've drawn enough cards off of these.
Way too many instances where just Celestial or Dasher in the hand just staring at me, making me sad. So into the hand traps and just like actual good normal summons for the deck because we just want to make Hulk. We play 3 Ash, we play 3 Bell because stopping Brave is important.
And
Play-
DPE.
Yeah, play 3 Ogre because stopping Brave is important. We're playing 2 Veiler in this particular list.
We were on 3 originally.
Dude, you stay with the alties though. I love it.
Yeah, we were playing 3 Veiler and then we cut it down for
Reasons
different card you'll
yeah.
see, and we're playing the one of Nibiru.
Okay, so Paulie, I remember in his deck profile, had said that he wished he had played this at 3. What do you guys think about that?
The contested spot that it's going for is between this card and Droplet, and I value Droplet in the main deck more than I value 3 of this card in the main deck.
So one of the deck's deck's worst matchups are Flunderies and Prankies, which Paulie had to play in the last 2 rounds. God bless that guy. But this card does not work on Flunder at all. And against Prank Kids, it works sometimes. If they don't see the Brave Engine, it's pretty good. But Droplet actually works against both of those decks, like almost every time. Unless you're on the D-Shifter. But, so we were talking about it, we just decided that, like, especially for the turn we were at, we figured there's going to be a lot more of, like, Flunder and Prank Kids there than Based. So
Didn't you play like hella Prank Kids?
I played a lot of Prank Kids. And Prank Kids at the YCS did have the most representation in Top Cut. So, like, some people might think it's the best deck. It's not, but it's a very good deck. It's very consistent. So, and it's our worst matchup, so you have to respect it. I mean, you can do it with the nib, but we ended up deciding to go with the Droplet for this one.
Like if you're playing primarily against decks like Dragon Link and like the base mirrors, then I would argue that 3 nips should be in the main, but if you're not seeing a lot of those strategies, then droplet's better. So moving on to spells, like we said, we're maining 3 droplet. It just has a lot of powerful matchups right now.
Sucks sometimes when you draw like a lot of hand traps,
It's
but
fine. You can cycle it with souls too.
that's the other thing. Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Like you can just discard it to draw cards with souls if your hand sucks. 3 Itelli, it's 1 card, everything.
It's crazy.
It's also an interruption. So if your opponent ends on Appaloosa or Griffin Rider, you just activate this and draw or standby, and they have to deal with a Ghost Ogre. One of the better, more techie cards that we're running for this format is Crossout Designator.
I had to really fight to keep this card on the list. Ben and Paulie really did not like this card. But the more we play it, like the more this card has proven its strength. In a deck that's already playing a bunch of hand traps, it makes a lot of sense. And in a format where everyone's playing the same cards, like Fusion Destiny and Brave, like there's just a lot of sense this is actually just Solemn Judgment.
I also negated a Despot 001 with this card.
Whose man's is this?
That was pretty cool. I turned off his entire combo with that. Yeah, just like we're playing 60 cards in the deck, and like everyone else is playing some combination of any of those 60 cards in their deck. So like it just negates everything. It's so good, especially like after siding.
Well, this card does suck.
It's terrible.
This card does suck.
It's awful.
But in this deck, like Paulie said, like if there's ever going to be a deck that's good, it's got to be this one because you're playing like everything in the deck.
Yeah. I mean, you play all the hand traps already, so it just
a
makes
generic
sense.
pile of cards.
Yeah.
He's getting the deck spot.
And then, of course, in the mirror, it's just like broken.
Well, yeah, like
Any Brave Mirror is about the same.
you'll very frequently like negate right or droplet with this card. But if there's if they're smart, then like you can
Send a spell.
like they'll send spell and then this almost never resolves. So like the problem is like the card can be played around so effectively, but going first, I've negated a lot of Nibiru's with this now, and it's definitely hurt its spot.
Nibiru is definitely one of the decks. Like Nibiru is bad by itself a lot of times, but with anything else, Nibiru is like an FTK against this next. So you kind of have to play it.
Going along with the pile theme, playing 3 Small World. You can use pretty much any card in the deck to search any card in the deck with this. Like the deck has so many bridges that realistically there's almost nothing you can't find with a couple of exceptions. Like it's really hard to search Griffin Rider, I found out. One of the namesakes of the deck is the adventure stuff, the brave stuff. We're playing the 3 and 1. We were on 2 this for a little bit.
1 and 1.
1 and 1, obviously.
This is like low key, kind of the best card in the end. Well, I mean, actually, I think this one is, but like this is really, really good. I don't mind opening this card. I kind of wish we were still playing 2 of it, but like.
Yeah, we miss him a lot. You don't really need to explain much. The cards are just broken.
It's important just like resolving to get level 4 non-tuner in this deck.
Yeah. So for one of spells, we're playing 1 Fusion Destiny.
I wish there was another one.
I really am okay with it being at 1, but yeah.
Make concessions. You have to make concessions if you want to play things like Cross.
It's fine. It very rarely comes up that you'd ever want a second one of this. Like if they're negating your Verte, you probably can just like survive without that engine anyway. It depends on the hand, realistically. We're playing the 1 Basil Shoot for the Res Dragons. We're playing the 1 Call by the Graves because we wanted stuff to resolve, and 1 Foolish Burial to see the adventure stuff more frequently. And then for our trap lineup, 1 Imperm.
There it is.
Crossout Designator.
Yes.
Did you ever cross out people with the Imperm? Or
No, but I did draw it in a match against Infernoble, and like that deck actually has some really, really cool combos. They were ending on like Siegfried plus double Herald of the Arclight plus Omega Rip 2 cards. They were making 2 power tools. It was a really cool combo under Appaloosa. And I had a hand of like really, really playable cards and only 1 hand trap. And I let him combo. He made his Appo. He got to everything. He threw his whole hand into it. He makes the roll down. I slapped down the Imperm and he scooped.
And he said goodnight.
I didn't even do my turn. He just scooped. He was like, yeah, you got it. And it was the only one I played in my deck. And I was like, thank God. If there was any other card, I lost the game.
Wow. Sometimes it'd be like that.
And on that day.
I activated this card 1 in 60 more than anyone else activated against me all day. So
That's true.
That's really
People don't
funny.
play it right now because it's not a tuner. And it's not amazing against a lot of things. Like, if you have it with Nibiru, it's good. But, like, with the other hand traps, it's, like, worse than Bell and Ogre, which is really weird. But
yeah, it doesn't turn off the brave cards, so it has a lot of negatives in the format.
Do you guys want to share your side deck or with the extra deck?
We're
Or
probably going to change it. We'll show what we did for that day.
okay.
Yeah, so for the day we played 3 Gamma. It's like
Tuner.
the best card going second.
Yeah, it's so
basically.
amazing.
It was pretty good. I resolved on my own turn a lot.
Yeah, there's not a matchup that it's like really bad in, so it's just like it comes in. It's fine in Outledge. They do the cyber stuff, so you just negate
that
the
part,
Preda plant. You laugh at them.
I think this is like kind of the strongest card in the set, like, minus the Nibiru, the extra Nibiru that we're going to get to. But like, there's so many times that I get shifted by Flunderies, And I have a small world in my hand, and every time I just search this and pass, and I Lancia them, and then they pass back to me and they lose. Every time. 100% success rate doing that.
Yeah, the
Broken.
card is rather solid right now, and just setting with Dagda and then looping it with Dagda or Baron is
That's true.
like
I
an
looped
auto
this-
win against Phantom Knights and Flunder.
I've looped this 3 times in one duel against a Flunder player.
A lot of the time after side, it's just this, because your board is going to beat them without being extra deck locked, and then like just locking them out of like other mechanics is stronger than the extra deck.
Right.
Yeah, because they're not going to be able to shoot through your synchros most of the time. We were playing 2 Phantasme.
It's a 7, which is cool with Red Rose. It also is a body, and you can see that we play a lot of cards that you really don't want to draw. So if you draw them going second, which it's more important going second not to see those cards, Phantasme can really fix your hand. There was a lot of times like I would see like Phantasme, and my hand would go from like awful to really, really strong.
The target protection like comes up in certain matchups too.
Yeah.
Like against what's it called? Sword Soul. Like this negates the blackout and
Yeah.
can negate Chisho.
But generally, like the draw putback is what
That's
you're
why
looking
you're
for.
fine.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
mulligan and the 7 body. The 7 body is really important. And it's a good bridge. It's a dark and a dragon.
We are in a super link heavy format right now.
Lots of Halka Fibrax.
Cheridini, Verte.
Lots of good cards. Bunch of striker too. Strikers everywhere. The last 2 Nibiru's,
They'd be somewhere in your list.
they're good. We're playing 3 Cyclone for this event.
Never again. I will not play that again.
I liked this card.
So this card lost me a couple games that if it was Twin Twister I would have won because I missed both times on a 50-50 hitting the card in the standby phase like against Flunder and Prank Kids, or if it was Twin I would have just won the game no TK then. So I'm done with this card. And you don't put it in against the scythe matchups. Like that's why everyone plays it. But we're playing so many hand traps, like you don't have room for it. This is going against control decks and like it's a 1-for-1 trade that's not good enough.
So, what was the reason for choosing Cosmic in the first place over Twin?
It's 1-for-1 remove without discarding.
Yeah, the big part of it was it maintained your hand size. We don't necessarily want to. We don't have any like super free discards outside of like Water Enchantress
And snow.
and Snow, but like you can discard that for your psychics. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of like other ways that we can just like choose to discard things. So there's never really a hand where you have like 2 things you want to discard, unless you open like specifically Water Enchantress and Snow, which is unlikely.
And then the reboot.
Those cards are good.
We shouldn't have played this card. We played it because when we got there we saw there was a lot of people playing some like gimmicky dumb trap decks, but I never drew this card, so
I also never drew that card.
should have just been another Phantasme.
Is it something where like if you had drawn it, it would have done better? I mean, obviously you won the
beat all
event,
trap
so it's
decks
like
without it.
yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, like against Lich, like they link a lot. They actually put multiple links on the board, so like having a third Phantasme would have actually been nicer in those matchups. Because when they do the Disciple to Devotee line, they get 2 link monsters on the board. You can draw 3 and put back 2. It's so good.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like actually fully mull your hand.
All right, well, why don't we move on to the extra deck?
Sure. Here you go. We played a bunch of tokens for this event.
Best token ever.
For links, we were running the 1 monk for the Shuda.
Yeah.
It was just fine. You needed
Well, this extra deck's pretty, for the
Yeah.
most part, pretty standard.
insanely
For this card.
standard.
Yeah, good to play that.
Need that for that.
So this is one thing that like we made Paulie switch up in the deck because like if you look at all the Tenny lists, the Tenny Rose Dragon lists, they all play the second help because you're really trying to resolve this card. And one thing that I noticed is there's a lot of hands like your bad hands. You just make a help, and the prior versions of the deck were only really getting like 1 stop, sometimes 2 off of it, and they lost like Dark Ruler, sometimes Droplets. So like one big change, I don't remember if Paulie talked about it in his list, is we switched to the Hop here because it guaranteed you 2 stops, and one of the stops remains in your hand, so there's a lot of cool you're dodging. And Paulie never did the combo. We ended up like coming up with a more refined version of the combo with off just help that would put up 3 stops. So we figured like you want 1 for follow up, and the second one also comes because sometimes you're just going to use 1 to throw it away, someone to play, get it in the grave, and make a Verte.
Got a Verte, Dagda, that should be standard at this point. Need it for the combo, need it to kill people. Synchros, Cupid Pitch.
So broken.
Really good card. Really good card. We need it for the combo. This sets up a lot of your follow-up plays. It dumps either Snow
Yeah.
or Water Enchantress.
It's like if you get stopped on your help a lot of times, you want to like have something good to summon off its affecting the opponent's turn. And it's also part of the combo that we started doing with help to set up the 3rd interruption.
Yeah, it just like dumps the Snow in your grave so you have even more interaction on their turn. Then Savage Dragon for the onboard, Baron for the onboard, and then ultimately DB.
Nice. That card would be nice.
That's stupid.
Guys, thanks so much for sharing the deck profile with us. We really do appreciate it. Are there any shout-outs or any notes you want to give at the end of the video here?
Yeah, well, shout out to our other teammate Felix. Felix played really well today. He came in clutch. Winning that last matchup in the finals, we played against a pretty cool team. There were a lot of cool guys. Shout out to Paulie, obviously. And shout out to our friend Romario, who always hops on and stalks us while we test.
Yeah, shout out to the Dueling book for letting us use all their stuff for free. Love those guys.
This deck's really expensive.
All right, guys. Well, again, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you being on the channel, and it's great being your friend. So this is Paper Yugioh, and as always, stay getting that paper. I will see you in the next video.
Paper boy. Show you how to get to that shit, stack it up real high, real high. See the hate in your eye, but I can't